Okay guys, so we're gonna get started here with tanning. I've already done coons and some of the beaver. Did 27 pelts like that. They turned out real good. So I'll show them to you later, but I'm gonna go ahead and video every process of this, because this is some of the longer fur, and the skunks, you know, they're just about like a coon. So you know, you guys watch this video, you'll be able to figure out the long hair fur, you know, and the shorter hair fur. So anyway, let's start off here by saying what you need. We're going to take a look at supplies. We're going to need some tubs. I've got a 55-gallon drum here full of water. I've got another tub there. 5-gallon bucket we'll use. As far as supplies, let me start by just saying the process of tanning. Basically what you're doing is you're removing all the natural oils from the hide and replacing them with some sort of a synthetic material that will not rot. That natural oil is actually what causes the hair to, or the hide to rot over time and the hair to slip. So we're just removing that and replacing it. Real simple process. So what we've got here is, the first process is, whether you're doing either alum tanning or brain tanning or the commercial tanning, you're gonna have to salt this hide. And what that salt does is it releases the oils and everything from and the fat from the skin. Let you get down to bare skin, so where your tanning solution will take hold. Now what you see here in front of you is the salts that I use. Regardless of what kind of salt you need, you got to have non-iodized salt. You can't have iodine in it. Now right here, this is 21 pelts that I'm fixing to do here. So you know, it's a decent little number. I've already done 26 of them. So you know, whenever you're doing that many, even the salt the cost of salt comes into a factor. So what you can do is, this is a water softener salt. It's coarse, real coarse salt, but for 40 pounds of this salt, it costs $4. Okay, what you see here is, this is just plain table salt from Walmart. This stuff here is 50 cents a pound, so do the math. If you're doing a lot of hides, you can actually save money by using this salt in some steps. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take all these hides and we're going to dunk them in this big tub of water. We're going to submerge them in there until they become soft enough to turn. What we're going to do is, we need them pliable. So like the skunks, we want to be able to get them, you know, soft enough to be able to turn. The coyotes, everything we want to be able to get enough to turn. What we're going to do is, after they become soft enough to turn, we're going to snap all the water we can out of them. We're going to then salt the whole hide as best as we can. And then we're going to let that sit for 24 hours. We're going to come back, we're going to scrape off that salt. We're going to salt it one more time, and then we'll move on to the next step. But you know, this salting process, it's quite important. You know, every process in this tanning is important. Don't skimp on it. You know, just to get to this point right here, there's already a lot of work involved, so you don't want to screw it up. About the coarse salt and the fine salt. Now after we get the salting done, we'll actually make a saltwater bath and submerge these hides in. So for that, I like to use the coarse salt, just because there's a ratio of a half a pound of salt per gallon. So whenever you're doing quite a few hides, it adds up pretty quick. But whenever you're salting the hide in general, it's hard to use that coarse salt. You see this here gray fox? I skin this fox out, all the feet, all the pads, ears and everything. This would be a real neat wall hanger. So you know, that coarse salt, it doesn't penetrate, you know, quite as good as the fine table salt. And you know, we're dealing with a lot of moisture here, which causes slippage. So you know, that other salt, that fine salt, it works real good doing this type of application. And then once we get in our saltwater bath, you know, it's all salt, so we'll just use the coarse salt and save a little money. Now for the foxes, they're very thin skinned. So what we're going to do is, we're not going to leave them submerged near as long. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to mix up a saltwater bath with a half a pound of salt per gallon to start off with. And I'm going to submerge these in. Everything else will just be submerged in regular water. They're a little thicker hide. So what I've got here is, this is 2.5 pounds of salt. I'm gonna put that in my bucket of water, and I'm going to fill that up to 5 gallons. I'm going to let that dissolve, and then I'm gonna put these foxes in here. Everything else is gonna go straight into this big tub of water, and they don't need to sit real long, just till they're pliable enough. You know, the thicker the hide, take a little bit longer, but you know, right around that 5-10 minute mark. And then, like I said, we'll pull them out and snap them. Here's a coon. I saved one coon back just because I know a lot of you guys will be tanning coons, so you'll see him in the process. We've got our skunks and our otters and stuff. Now, you know, everybody who watches me, you know I'm a big advocate on washing fur. You can see here, you can see the bottom of that 55-gallon drum. I've already got 5-6 hides in there, and you know, I've been working them around. These hides are clean. You know, that'll be another step down the road, is actually is washing these hides again, and you're only saving yourself by getting a head start on it. So I'm gonna quit rambling here, and I'm gonna get these hides in, and we're gonna let them soak a little bit. We'll get back with you whenever we're moving on to our salting process. Okay, so for those of you that you know, do your foxes and your muskrats and your coyotes up for the fur market, you know that you need to leave the membrane on if at all possible. Well, that membrane needs to be removed in the tanning process. So you know, normally I know about what I'm going to tan, so I remove that membrane whenever I'm fleshing. But you know, say that you know, you decide to tan because you find out fur prices are low or something happens. So anyway, this is a fox here, and the membrane was left on whenever I fleshed it. It needs to be removed now. This fox has been soaking in the water for 10-15 minutes. You know, he's nice and loose now. I was able to, you know, flip him inside out and snap him dry. Now, before I salt this hide, I need to remove that membrane. That's the membrane. You know, on a little fox like this hog scraper here works excellent. You know, it doesn't take any amount of time. Just peel that membrane right off, and the saddle, or as some refer to it. But anyway, you know, if you got a whole bunch, you know, throw them back on the fleshing beam, you know, and just easily scrape it back off. But it's something that needs to be taken care of and addressed before we move further in the tanning process. Okay, so on this fox here, I did the feet up and the ears, you know, left them all on. So right here, you know, at the feet, you just go ahead and just pack that full of salt, and then the ears the same way. Just pack them where you split them. Pack them all full of salt, all 4 feet, and then you'll be good to go. Okay, so start to finish here, we'll show you. Same with all the critters. There's a coon, been in the water a little while. He's nice and limber. He's sopping wet. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna take him, we're gonna turn him right side out, or fur out. We're gonna snap him dry. You know, for those of you that think, well, why can't I salt my hide, you know, in the boarding process, or why can't I board them fur out, you know? Well, they don't dry right whenever you board them for fur out. And the salt, you know, you want to use the salt after the natural drying has occurred. You know, just do the right steps, you know, and end up with a good product. He's turned right side out, and whenever I say snap him, snap him. We want to get the water out of him. So we're going to really just snap him, you know, like a wet towel. And we're going to get the majority of the water out of him. You know, you can be pretty aggressive with them. Now, there's that coon. This is a nice dark coon here. But, you know, he's pretty dry. You know, he's about the same dryness as what he comes out of my washing machine after a spin cycle. Okay, so we'll get set up here and I'll show you how I salt him. First thing we're going to do is, now that he's good and dry, we'll just take him and we'll turn him back to fur in. This is why you want your hides nice and loose. You're going to be flipping them in and out a lot during this process. Okay. Okay, we've got our coon. I've got just a little table made here where my salting takes place. We got our table salt here we're using. We want to be very, very liberal with our salt, you know. Don't skimp on the salt. You've come a long way to this point, you know, there's no point in half-assing it right now. So we're going to give them a nice, good coat of salt. Okay? You gotta get you a table with a bowl in the middle. You kind of kill two birds with one stone. You get some salt on the bottom. It works out quite well. Or a tub or something. We're going to work that salt in. Massage it in as best we can. Every nook and cranny. I'm going to flip him over. You can see he's already almost nicely salted because I had enough salt on the bottom. We're just going to finish him off just a little bit here and there. Get all the salt in. Okay, now since this is a case tied, all we have to do is flip him right back out and roll him up. If this was a beaver, we just simply roll him or fold him skin on skin. So we're going to take him. We're going to turn him back. Fur out. And we're going to roll him. You can see all that salt still left in there. Might add just a little bit here and there. Flip his tail over him. Roll him up. Okay. I'll put him in my tub now. I've got them all stacked in a tub. We're going to leave them in that tub for 24 hours. And then after the 24-hour period, we're going to start and we're going to redo this whole process. We're going to scrape all the salt off and we're going to do it again. Okay, so it's the next day here. We'll follow this coon since we did it yesterday. They've sat in the salt all night. We're just going to unfold him here. And we're just going to repeat the same process that we did yesterday one more time. Where we put him in our salt bath solution. Take our coon, you can see all that salt. We need to scrape him. Take just the dull edge of a kitchen knife here. Scrape him down. We'll reapply our salt. Same as we did yesterday. And then we're going to roll them back up and we're going to put them in our tub again and then wait 24 hours and then we'll put them in a salt bath solution. Okay, so this is the second day here. This is just a quick shot. You can see nothing fancy. I've got my tub. For what it's worth, you can see I've got these two tubs here. This one's actually got a hole in it. It's setting over top this other tub and I set it on an angle, so what happens is there is a little bit of water left on these hides. It drains down through the holes and the hides aren't sitting in the water. But the beavers, it's real hard to get them dry. I let them sit in a bucket. They're only in wet for 2 days, so low humidity, it's not a big deal. But anyway, this is the end of step 2 of the salting process here. We'll let these guys sit 24 hours and then we'll move on to our saltwater bath solution. Okay guys.